Hey, I'm author Shannon Reber, and this is Genre's Bookshop Podcast. And today, fabulous narrator Brandi Baelfire and moi are interviewing Wesley Watts, the writer of a very, very good sci-fi book that I absolutely love. So, hi.
Hi, thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And okay, so you have how many books now in total?
So under Wesley Watts, just the one.
Okay.
So, I don't know if we want to go into that whole thing, but it's a bit of a story how I got started, like
If you want to tell me that,
12 years ago.
okay.
Um, oh, so okay.
If you want to,
Yes,
sure.
I
always.
guess I opened, I guess I opened that door.
You did, and we're gonna walk through it.
We will, we will.
All right, so I used to write under a different pen name.
Okay.
Um, this was around 2010, 2012-ish.
Okay.
I released Um, I got a piece of flash fiction published in Flashman magazine, which is a Canadian
Ooh.
e-zine,
Okay.
um, which is kind of like the first thing that I got done, and they paid me like $5.
Woot.
Ooh. That's more than I
Um,
made on a couple of my books.
and as you guys probably know, flash fiction is 1,000 words, so it was just like
Okay.
one quick scene.
Right.
And the editor really liked it and was like, "You should expand this."
Oh.
So I turned that into a novel,
Okay.
which I self-published, and I think I made some mistakes with that one.
Okay.
Looking back, I was pretty proud of it at the time, but the characters were kind of flat. The ideas
Oh.
were kind of cool, but it was mediocre. Let's say that.
Okay.
We learn and we
Um,
grow.
We
we
learn
do.
exactly, exactly.
Um, it was selling actually okay, and I made a little bit of money off of it for a little while. And then the next thing that I did, um, while I was basically publishing that, me and an author friend of mine co-wrote a steampunk novella.
Hmm.
Um,
That's
we
cool.
it was a lot of fun, and we worked together, and it was this really crappy marketing job. So we're writing marketing copy, but the job actually took us about 3 to 4 hours a day, and we're stuck in
Oh.
this office for 8 hours. So we just started writing, and we're
Okay.
like passing this Word document back and forth, um,
Oh my
and
gosh.
we co-wrote the entire novella at
That's
work.
amazing.
Um, Self-published it, and then shortly after we self-published it, we actually got it picked up by a small press.
Nice. Okay.
So they republished it. They asked us to add about 10,000 words to it because it was about 35,000 words
Okay.
before, and then we
Hmm.
got up to like 45,000 words. So we kind of rewrote some of it,
Okay.
added that in, and then that was intended to be a series. So like each book was kind of like we looked at it like a television show, kind
Okay.
of thing.
Yeah.
And like we got a lot of compliments on it. People were comparing it to Firefly, which I thought was
Oh,
amazing.
that's a great
Yeah.
comparison.
Um,
Ooh.
yeah, we had a lot of fun doing it. We were like halfway through the second one, and I got a head injury. So I got a
Oh.
massive concussion, um, and basically couldn't write anymore.
Oh my
Uh,
goodness.
so I went after that. I went for about 7 years without being able to write anything. I didn't read a
Mhm.
single book during that time, because I my concentration was gone. So
Okay, okay.
I'd
Right.
start reading or writing, and I'd get like a couple paragraphs in, and I wouldn't remember how I got started.
Oh
Oh
man.
man,
So
that's so hard.
That sounds like torture.
It
it was pretty
does.
bad. So
Gosh,
I I went through kind of a dark phase there.
makes sense.
And as I kind of got back, like
Understandably.
I kept trying, I kept trying, I kept trying, I kept failing.
Hmm.
Um, and then eventually I started working on this book,
Okay.
and something clicked.
Oh, I like the
Nice.
Um,
click. That's
We love
excellent.
when that happens.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So this is my first book that I've been able to finish, since that time.
Okay.
Total, I guess I kind of missed some stuff in there, but total I've written about 5 or 6 books.
Okay.
But most
Okay.
of them were absolute trash. So,
See, I
um,
have
Don't
this
feel
yeah.
bad about it. You're
feeling.
not the only one.
Oh, I
have
think
this
it's
feeling that they're
natural.
not.
Yeah.
I have this feeling they're not actually bad. I have that feeling because you
Right.
just you have that way about you. I
Yeah,
think you're a
maybe
lot
they're not
better
as
than you
bad
say
as he
you are.
thinks they are.
I
He's
think
probably just
that's
hard
it.
on himself.
Yep.
I appreciate saying that, but I think at least the first one is just unmitigated garbage.
Yeah.
At
Well, you
least
know
the
what?
first
Even
one. But
when I first read the little snippet that he put on ACX, I actually when we started communicating, I was like, when I read that, I knew that I had to audition because this sounded so Brandon Sanderson. I love Brandon Sanderson. And he was like, I love Brandon Sanderson, so I take that
I
as a huge
do.
compliment.
Hey,
And
hey.
I still think after reading the book, after narrating the book, I still find it very Brandon Sanderson. So it didn't disappoint in
Agreed.
the least.
Yes.
But I have listened to Brandon Sanderson's lectures, and even he will admit to mistakes that he's made in
Mhm.
books. So it's
Right.
not like Brandon Sanderson is the perfect, most amazing author. Like he recognizes within himself, where
Oh yeah.
you make mistakes and I mean, just being honest with yourself is part of the process, like you said.
Well, I've actually told a few, because I'm part of like a number of groups online of
Mhm.
authors and writers and stuff, and I've actually told a number of people now, um, don't expect your first book to be good.
Right.
Right.
It's
I
true.
actually tell people,
Yes.
it happens once in a while. Like I think J.K. Rowling, I think Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, I think that was her first
Mhm.
book.
Sorcerer's
But
Stone.
Oh gosh.
Sorcerer's Stone, not Philosopher's Stone.
We all knew what
Sorry.
he meant.
Sorry.
You didn't have to play
I had
semantics.
to. I'm
Okay.
sorry. I'm
I
sorry.
was
Please.
over here just like, I love Harry Potter. Yeah.
I knew you
wait,
were.
I don't know if we're gonna have words here or not, because it was
Oh.
originally Philosopher's Stone.
Oh. Well,
I think
it's
it was
Sorcerer's Stone
originally
now.
Philosopher's Stone, and then
Yeah,
she changed it when it became America, like when she
uh,
Americanized it. I
the
think. I'm
the
not sure
U.S.
about that.
publishers made her do that.
Yeah,
They
something like
said
that.
they said Philosopher's Stone wouldn't work in the U.S. and they
Oh,
and
okay.
they changed it.
I can
Um,
100% guarantee you that I would not have cared.
I would not have cared
um,
either.
but yeah, but even that one, I think she did like 15 or 16 drafts.
Yeah.
Right.
So
And she got rejected by a
yeah,
butt ton of
yeah.
publishers.
So
Hmm.
I mean, after 15, 16 drafts, is that really still your first book?
Yeah.
I don't
Oh, you
know.
make a good point.
Um,
That's true. It's true.
what's that story about the ship that you replace every part on the ship, and is it really still the same ship at the end of it?
Yeah.
I don't know
Uh,
that. I don't know that parable, but it sounds like a good one.
it's
Makes
Greek.
sense.
It's
Okay.
yeah. But yeah, so that's kind of a quick version of my story, and
That's
that you
amazing.
know,
That is a very encouraging
so
story that
It
you
is.
came back to it and you despite your limitation,
yeah,
for a few years, it worked for you. And
it
you
was
wrote
tough.
an amazing story.
Well, thank you. I
You're
appreciate that.
welcome.
Indeed.
And
I
your
really appreciate
narrator
that.
did a very good job
She
bringing the
did.
characters to
She
life,
did all
didn't she?
right.
Oh, that was such a cool process.
You're gonna make me blush.
And how fat like that was so amazing. Your audition was so fast. Um,
I don't know.
I
I think I just like got on one day and I was like, let me just
I
see what they got.
I don't know if like my perception of time was messed up or what, but um I hit publish or whatever you do. I forget what button it is to put that out there.
Right.
And I'm I'm like, I'll I don't know. I didn't really know what to expect, but I guess I'm thinking, I'll get one or two auditions like within a couple of days
Oh
or something.
man.
And
I
then I
I
swear
I think you found something different.
that, yeah, I did definitely found something different. So I hit the button to publish it, or again, whatever that is. And then like 3 minutes later, you send me a 7-minute audition. And I'm like, does this lady have a DeLorean? Like, how did this even happen? Um, and
Wow.
and then I
How
listened to it and I'm
funny.
like, this is fantastic. This is so
Aw.
good.
Uh-huh.
Um,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, how did this happen like right off the bat? And then I have to tell you, like they just started piling up. And
Mm-hmm.
the auditions came in so fast I couldn't listen to all of them as they came in.
Right.
And some of them were not good. But you
Some of
had
them were
some,
probably recorded with their iPhone.
yes.
I can only
Um,
imagine.
yeah, some
Yes,
of them
yes,
were,
yes.
some of them, the audio quality was bad. Uh, some of them were just not the right voice. Some
Yeah,
were
yeah.
just
Mhm.
not very good. There was this one I felt so bad for her. Like this, she sounded like this sweet old lady. She
Oh.
just sounded like, the grandma that you want to hang out with. But I'm
Ah,
like, you
That's
can't
not
do
the
a
voice.
17-year-old.
Oh.
Like
yeah. No.
but she sounded so nice. Um,
Bless her.
but there
Bless your
was,
heart.
Bless her heart.
but I don't know what to, should I call you Andy here or Brandy?
Either way,
Doesn't
it
matter.
doesn't
Okay.
matter.
You did have some competition. There was like 3 or 4 really good
Yeah,
auditions.
that's
Ooh.
good.
Um, and I had to weigh it out a little bit, but I was like, this really is the best one.
Mm-hmm.
Ah,
Um,
Uh-huh.
and so yeah, I was super happy with that. Obviously I had some trepidation because it's a big project.
Oh
yeah,
yeah.
But
obviously. I did
you were
too.
so
I'm gonna be
you
honest.
were
I thought you were a scam.
really.
I remember the messages she sent me going, I'm
Like,
not sure
Oh,
about
tell
this
me
guy.
about
At
this.
first
Tell
it
me about
came up,
this.
then it was down.
I did because I was like, oh my gosh, like I was like, but this is the name that's messaging me, and this is the name that's on the book. And
Oh,
I was
because
like, I was trying to do due diligence because there are
right.
so many scams out
There
there.
are a lot of
So
those.
I was like, I was trying to put like very polite questions at you if you remember. I was like, so is this
Yeah, I
saying
forgot about
you
that.
are the same person?
Right, because everything imported from my old KDP account, which was under that old pen name
Ah,
from like
Okay.
so my pen name from like 12
right,
years ago now.
right.
And yeah, so that all imported out without me even thinking about it. I didn't even consider that.
Man, I was like, oh my gosh. And it was one of those too good to be true. The names aren't the
That's
same. I
exactly
looked
what
up
she
the
told
person.
me. Yep.
I looked up the person and I can't find anything on him. I can't find hardly like the only information I can find about this pen name from 12 years ago, evidently, that I'm finding out is from 12 years ago. And I was like,
Wow. And you didn't have my real name yet, so you
mm-mm. But
I
I
got
was like,
I got this series of messages
yeah,
about how worried she was about this. I'm like, I think you're okay. This doesn't sound suspicious
and then
exactly.
it came
I think
down,
you're
and it was like something
yes.
ACX has done differently, evidently now, where you can put it up and then take it down to like continue listening to your auditions and
yeah.
then still make an offer after you've taken your title down. You know,
I took it down because I was getting so many
so many
auditions
of
and I
it.
was
Yeah.
like and those I think 4, I could be mistaken, but I think there was 4 that were really good quality.
Right.
And I was like, between these 4, I've got it. So I pulled it
Hmm.
back down, and then one of those people messaged me back, said, I don't like the way I did this character. I've actually already re-recorded it, but it won't let me upload it because you took it down. Will you put it back up?
Hmm.
I was like, okay. Um,
Oh.
so then I put it back up. So I don't know if you saw that or not, and then pulled it back down after
I
she
did, and that's why.
Yes, yes,
um
yes.
and
Oh, goodbye,
yeah.
Snowflake.
So that was the story of that. But yeah, I can imagine. And then when we were about halfway through the process, it kind of dawned on me. I was like, the way ACX does this is kind of weird. I was expecting to have to put up money, like half down or
Mm,
something, right?
right.
And even if that doesn't go to you, like as in an escrow or something, that
Right.
kind of thing.
Right.
Um, so I was fully
Which
prepared to do that, and it doesn't
there is a site that does that, but
doesn't
ACX
do that.
doesn't.
And I was like,
Hmm.
so
It's a
I
very
could,
strange system. It really is.
It
yeah, I
is.
was like, that's not exactly a great way of doing things because an unscrupulous author could string you along, make you put in 40, 50 hours or however much work it is. It's probably,
Hmm. And that's where all the scams come from.
yeah, and then
Yeah.
just either download your audio as you're going or
Yep.
just to waste your time. I don't know. Like
Hmm.
that's not
Authors,
cool.
please don't do this. Please, we beg you.
Yeah, maybe you should edit that part
As
out.
authors and
Yeah.
and a narrator,
Yeah.
please don't do this to
Yeah,
anyone. That's mean
Yeah.
and
no.
bad.
And it's not going to be an author that does it. It's going to be somebody who's found a manuscript from an author and they're going to make themselves
Yeah.
seem like they're the author, and then they're going to, they've spent no time on it, they've spent no money on the project, they didn't write the book, and they're going to find a narrator who's going to do some work for them, and they're going to always post it. Usually they're going
Yeah.
to post it as a royalty share so that when the author does all the work, and they'll make some
Mhm.
royalties off of doing nothing. And
Yeah.
then after they find them out, they'll take it down and they'll be like, you weren't supposed to do that. But the narrator's the one that gets, the
Hosed,
shiv in the
yeah.
back. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because they don't get to make money, and the author already made their little share of whatever they were doing.
Well, the
Oh,
the
Maybe,
faux
yeah.
author, the
Yeah, the faux
non-author.
author.
Yes,
yeah,
yes,
faux
yes.
author. That's what I mean to say. Because this is
Yeah.
scammer.
The jerk
And they're out
face.
there.
They are.
Um,
There's so many of them.
there's a lot of scammers out there. And one of the things that I did for this book, I actually researched hacking.
Really?
And yeah, so
I mean, it's part of the book, girl.
It is, yeah.
yeah, so not the sympathetic reality stuff that I had to come up with later on, but
Okay.
Mhm.
the stuff before all that where she's talking about hacking people to basically
Mhm.
she's getting money to uh get her
Mhm.
underground or black market drugs. That stuff is actually real.
Yeah.
Um
Uh-huh.
All those
and
phishing emails and stuff like that.
yeah, so I did a lot of research on how that works, and actually I got a Linux
Mhm.
operating computer,
Oh my
and like started
goodness.
learning how to
Listen,
code.
Oh,
Um
wow, you really went deep.
he did with a Linux.
yeah.
I wouldn't even touch Linux with a 10-foot pole.
So yeah, I did as much as I could to make as much of it as authentic as I could.
You really did a very good
So
job.
thank you.
And I gotta say, I have this friend who, anytime a male author writes a female character, she will basically throw the book away. She won't read it. She won't even look at
Yeah,
it because she hates the way that males portray females. You did perfectly. I
I
didn't
thought he
see
did great.
anything. Yeah. I didn't
thank you.
see anything that made me think, "Oh, this is a dude. Oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that."
That
It
that
was
was that was definitely a big concern of mine. And because this might come as a surprise, but I've never been a 17-year-old girl.
really. I
Yeah.
am surprised. I am
Yeah.
surprised,
In this day
yes.
and age, I'm shocked.
Um,
I mean,
so
how could you? The
I
audacity.
I don't know. I mean, you'd think I would have tried it at least once, right?
You should
Yeah.
have. Come on.
Yeah.
I
I'm
mean,
not
look
gonna
at
know
all
Um,
the
you got to
research
try
on
it
the
at least
hacking.
twice.
twice.
I
Oh,
do. You got to try everything at least twice. Because
okay.
the first time you don't know what you're getting into, and the second time you're like, okay, now I can make an informed decision.
That's a
And
lot of
then you can
surgeries
decide whether.
twice. That's a lot of
That
surgeries
sounds a
twice.
little uncomfortable. I'm
Yeah.
just let's just stay who we are for right now,
Um,
okay? I mean,
but
Fine.
you go deep.
Whatever.
You researched all the hacking, so I'm really glad you didn't become a girl to write this book.
well,
That
one thing I did do though, because I was concerned about that, I did my best to get in her head and understand the character, and I actually did that with all the characters, and I kind of want to tell you guys a little bit about that too.
Oh,
But
please. Yes.
Yeah.
one of the things that I did to kind of check that is I made another pen name. Um, I made another fake name. I don't even remember what it was now. This was about a year ago when I was testing this part of it. But I did like, like an initials kind of thing.
Okay.
Um, so that you didn't have any idea what gender I was. I created a new account on Fiverr,
Mm-hmm.
and I
Oh,
I paid, I think it was 5 or 6 beta readers on
okay.
Fiverr. And I didn't tell them anything about myself or anything, but I had them read the book. It was a little bit an earlier draft, not quite what you guys saw, but it was pretty close at this point. Um, and then I sent them, like you do with most beta readers, you have a questionnaire for them.
Okay.
And the questionnaire had a handful of questions on there that I really did not care about. I almost cursed just now, but I caught myself.
Thank you. Congratulations. You win the prize.
Yeah. So I had a handful of questions on there that I really didn't care about. The only question that I nestled in there that I did care about is, um, can you get or please guess the sex, gender, sexual orientation, age of the writer?
Okay.
Because I wanted to see, are they going to
Right.
guess that, hey, this is a 40-year-old dude writing this? And no
Yeah.
one did.
That's
So
Good.
awesome. That
I
is
Yeah.
called
amazing.
I called that a win.
Look at
That is
you.
totally. Okay,
Um,
Yeah.
I gotta say though, for me, the idea of paying beta readers just makes me cringe because that's not what a beta reader is in my view. But the fact that it works for you, that's really cool. That is
Yeah.
absolutely amazing.
I guess it
I've
depends on what you're looking for.
Yeah, and I've had almost no free beta readers
Okay.
show up.
Really?
So yeah, like the dropout rate I've had on free beta readers is just insane.
Well,
Um,
yeah,
so
true.
I am willing to pay for that if they're good.
Okay.
And most of them are actually pretty reasonable, so it's not a huge cost.
Okay, that's good.
Um, but if for some, like, hopefully if I get my name out there a little bit, people will actually want to read my next book or my third book or fourth book or whatever. And then
Mm-hmm.
I can put it out there that I want beta readers and maybe I will get people actually lining up for it. I don't know.
Right.
But
Oh,
but
yes.
as a no-name person like I am, I have not had any luck. Have
See,
you?
for me, I had a lot of luck with my first book, and
Mhm.
then the more I published, the less anyone cared. And they were very nice and very helpful, and they like helped me even with editing issues. Like they
Mhm.
were absolutely amazing. And then just now I can't. Now I have Andy
Is it because you have that natural like dropout as you go through a series, or are you talking about for your other books as well?
for pretty much everything. For all of every book that I've ever written,
Okay.
I have Andy.
May.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Even after she publishes, I'm like, hey, I don't think you meant
Yes, that
so
that is what I do. I publish the book
SUW. I
and
think you
then
meant SOW.
Well, you caught
yes.
one or two of mine too, so
She is so
I'm
good at that.
pretty good at it. I try to
Uh-huh.
be.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah,
Well,
yeah.
you caught one or two of mine too.
Well, when you're
It'd be like that
doing that much
sometimes.
audio, like
It's
Yeah,
true. It's true.
that's
it
yeah,
is. Shannon got some audio from me earlier today
Yes,
too.
she
she was
did.
telling me
Yes,
that
she did.
without yeah,
Uh-huh.
she told me about that since you were late.
That is
Sorry.
She said her narrator was better than mine.
yeah. Yep.
Y'all are something else, I swear. My goodness.
Seriously, you keep seeming to think that I'm lying to you about this. You have more than one proof now that you're
Nah.
awesome. So you
Yeah,
you just have to accept the fact that you're awesome and move on and just keep going because the more you do, the more people will realize how good you are.
Well,
yeah.
thank you. I guess I'm
I,
done. I'm
I
just
was I
kidding.
had a question for her and she
Well,
just
I
takes
mean,
off.
yeah, you can just talk
I
to me now.
accepted the fact that I was amazing and I moved on.
Oh, well,
I'm joking. I'm joking. I gotta get
she's
one in on
full
her.
of it today, isn't she? My
Right?
goodness.
I've been in the closet
Um,
all day, okay?
aren't you still in a closet?
She
Yes.
is. Yes, she
Yeah.
is.
Same
Yes.
closet. This is
It's
where I record. Welcome. The
uh
wall
A real
behind it is more recordy looking, but
recordy looking things. Yeah, I
yeah, you
get
sent me
that.
a
Yeah.
picture of that. Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, I did. I sent you a
Yeah.
picture.
Okay,
Um,
so
Okay.
Wesley Watts.
yes.
I have to say I do love the name. It is a great pick for an author name. Well done.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And
It was too.
yeah, hi. I know, right?
Oh,
So I do find
got
it
him.
I do find it great that we've got WW and BB doing the project together. I think
Yeah.
that's pretty awesome. And
Well, I didn't.
um
I'm glad you put that together because I wasn't going to.
well,
I
we have WWBB and SS, even though I mean
Mhm.
SS is my married name, so SR is what it would be, but SS is more funner. So we have SS, BB, and WW.
nice.
Yeah, I like it.
I saw that on the meeting invite. I was like, oh, I didn't actually
Mhm.
put it together until just now.
I didn't either.
I'm a little
Ah.
obtuse.
Well, hey, I mean, my sense of humor is hard to pick up on most of the time, actually. So,
I've never thought so.
Aw, see,
But,
this
Oh,
is
you
why
know.
she's my favorite
But
person in the
we're
entire state of
twinsy
Louisiana.
weirdos. Yeah, we're twinsy weirdos. So,
Yes, but not today because I forgot to
oh.
wear my dragon t-shirt.
Oh
mm,
no, we're still with like
Oh, yeah,
weirdos.
yeah.
Not
That's true.
twinning
That's
in
true.
shirts.
Not
Okay.
twinning shirts, but you
Okay.
know.
Okay. So,
Anyways,
did you have a question for Wesley?
I am wondering, you said you are, how far into book two are you?
Oh,
um,
yes.
so my process is a little bit odd.
Okay.
I'm about 7 or 8 thousand words into my like what I consider a zero draft.
Okay.
Mhm.
My first or zero drafts or first drafts, what do you want to call it?
Mhm.
They are more like scripts than anything else, though.
Really?
So there's little bits of where they're at, little bits of action,
Oh,
but it's almost entirely dialogue.
okay.
Uh,
Oh, nice.
I-
That's very cool.
Let me ask you this, Wesley.
yeah.
Are you a planner or a pantser?
Um,
I see your face, Shannon.
She's picking on me.
I am.
why? Wait, why?
I'm a pantser.
Are you?
She's a
I'm a
pantser.
pantser.
She will message me and be like, "I'm so mad at my characters right now," and I'm like, "You wrote it."
I'm watching the movie in my head and I'm writing down what's happening. So
So
how do you do yours? Are you
I I actually prefer George R. R. Martin's version of this. The he calls it an architect or a gardener.
okay.
But it's the same thing.
Okay.
He's like, you put the floor plan together for architects, they know where everything's going before you start building a single thing, or
Okay.
the gardener that puts the seed in the ground, waters it and sees what comes up.
That
Um,
yes. Yes,
so yeah.
exactly.
Um, but I don't have a very good analogy for what I am. Um,
Well,
Not a
gardener, that's
the
17-year-old
very
old
great.
female.
I'm not a set no anymore.
Oh, well, I mean,
Um, I actually think of it more like this is gonna sound like I don't want to sound like a blowhard or
oh,
anything,
come
but
on, just tell us.
um,
Just tell
Just
us.
go
I
We won't
think
ahead.
of
tell a
it
soul.
I think of it more like I'm an ant colony. So I kind of build a structure, knock
Mhm.
it down, build it back up better, knock it down,
Oh,
build it back up better. And I just kind of keep doing that and layering on top of things,
I
almost like
love
sedimentary
that.
Nice.
rock,
Okay.
until I have something with enough depth and cohesion to work. Because
Ah, okay.
um, I used to be an architect. I used to plan every little bit
Mhm.
back in my previous writing life, and I actually think that's why my characters fell flat
Okay,
because
okay.
they had to do what
Mm.
was they had to act a certain
Right.
way and do
Yes.
what was in
They
in
had to
the
make the decision.
right. So there wasn't enough room for them to be whoever they were supposed to be.
Precisely.
Um,
Yes.
but I also need to kind of have a pretty good idea of what's going to happen. And this is actually going to lead me into a question I had for you, Shannon.
Okay, okay.
Um, but and it's interesting to hear that you're a pantser because that is not what I was expecting.
Oh, really?
And it's not. No. But like I would get into these situations and the most I'm not really worried about spoilers, but the most important moment in Me and the Machine, in my opinion, was when Jules and Morgan are sitting in that room. Um, all the forces are on the other side of that door, and they're waiting for the AI to get broken, and they're just sitting there having a conversation.
Oh,
And
Mhm.
Jules asks Morgan, "Who was the first person you killed?"
that,
And
yeah, I just got goosebumps remembering that. Yeah,
that scene I had not planned. I had no idea that was going to happen. I was just
yeah.
like, I gotta have these guys do something while they're sitting here doing nothing,
Right.
Right,
right?
right,
They're sitting here waiting to die. What
right.
kind of conversation would I have with my best friend?
Mhm.
Um,
Goosebumps
and
again.
so
Mhm.
that entire anecdote about him killing
Killing the wrong guy.
C's brother
Oh,
and C being abused and
yeah,
that entire thing, like
yeah.
that came out of nowhere. And I sat back and I'm like, what the?
Yeah,
I'm not gonna say it, but what the F did I just write?
I know
Uh,
that feeling. I
and
love that feeling.
at that point, that was not part of C's character. She had
Okay.
not been abused. None of that was in the plan. I had to go back and be like, okay, how would this affect everything else? How would this
Yeah.
affect
Mhm.
their friendship and what that means?
Yeah.
And that is actually the most important part of the series in my mind because that actually changed the course of the next book.
That's amazing.
Because the next
Now,
book is
the
going to
next book
be,
is in her point of view, right?
yeah, the next book is in her point of view, and
That's
I
awesome.
don't think it would have been if I hadn't have had that scene
Okay,
because
okay.
Right.
then I realized because I started coming up with the plot for the next book, and I was like, this is actually C's story. I have to tell it from her
Okay.
point of view. I have to figure out how that affects her. So
Mm,
now I'm going down that same kind of like rabbit hole I did with hacking and learning all the stuff that I did for Me and the Machine with
okay.
that type of abuse, and that is
Yeah.
not a fun trip to
It is
take.
not. I've done some research there
Um,
too. It is an
yeah,
excruciating thing to research.
yeah, it's not going to be a lot of fun to write, but
Yeah. I
it's
absolutely agree.
um so yeah, the next book is gonna be, I mean, if this one was sad, I think the next one's gonna be a little bit worse. But
Oh.
um but
Yeah,
yeah, well, but it might have a little bit more of a happy ending, so
okay.
we'll see.
Oh, good.
But yeah, that's kind of the way I do it. Like I get to a certain point and then I have to go all the way back and start over because um I
Right.
change things.
I like
But
that. That's awesome.
Yeah, that makes
the
sense.
the first couple of drafts of this book were actually in third person, and I wrote from
Oh, okay.
I think I told you this, Brandy, but I wrote like probably around 250,000 words for
Mm-hmm.
this book.
Yeah.
Because I wrote from everybody's point of view.
Ah.
And that's what blew me away about because my question to you is going to be like, how do you come up with what vocal style and what cadence to give the characters and what voice to give the characters, but more specifically about Lauren Gallagher because she had she was such an important character to me.
Yeah,
Mhm.
And she's not actually in the book that much,
right.
but there was actually
Right.
a, several chapters and a bunch of scenes from her point of view in the original one.
Mm.
So
Okay.
I know all of her story and I know everything that was going on in her head behind the
Right.
scenes and why she was making the decisions she was doing. Um,
Mm.
and I swear it seemed like you knew all that. And I don't know how. Um,
She, she is intuitive like that.
I,
I will give
I
you that.
mean,
It
I
is amazing.
yeah. I mean, it really is. Man, it's not something I think about. It's not something I really. It's just. It really is just kind of a intuition. Sorry. As
She's
you
paying
wrote,
tuition.
yeah.
oh, God, forever. But anyway, um, so I mean, you wrote this character and you brought her to life on the page, and I just picked up on that. So I mean, I gotta
Hmm.
attribute a lot of that to you as a writer. In
Hey, that's
that, I
amazing.
mean, you wrote her and you told me about her through that writing, and all I did was voice exactly what you wrote. And I think some narrators don't read the entire book before they start reading. They just start narrating.
Yeah.
And I can't do that. Like I don't have to go through and like highlight everything because I have a pretty good memory. And like when I get into the characters, like I remember who everybody is. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh man, how exactly was their voice again?" So I do have a list of like, and it's
Yeah.
like not, it's like Gabby was direct, not sassy, like just normal. And then C was regular but softer. That was like that was how I just voiced them. And K was, you know, preppy and sassy. That just little attributes that I give them. And then, one I might say is airy. One might be,
So,
Okay.
so you
like
boil it down to like one or two words or a phrase, huh?
right, just so I can get back into that like mindset of who they
Okay.
were. Like, what was it? Patrick was his name. I made him like a high pitched, like annoying Stupid carrot top
I didn't
character in
like
my
him.
head.
Yeah, so it worked out
You weren't
perfectly.
supposed to. He was a dweeb and a tool. I didn't like him.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
you weren't supposed to like him.
Well, yes,
And
I
I
get.
don't think that was Wesley's intention to like him.
No,
But
he's
we
not as
also
bad
didn't
as.
like.
Go ahead.
No,
I want to say.
that's what we might have been about to say the same thing. The other guy, man, the one that died with the pillow.
Callum,
Oh, what was his
Caleb.
name?
Oh, he was just
Yeah.
irritating. Oh, I
Wasn't
didn't
he
like
just
him.
Yeah.
such a pompous prick? Oh my
Yes, yes,
gosh.
that's exactly yes.
So
That
And
was
so
that
that's
was
what I
very.
made him.
I wrote one chapter from his point of view in that original draft,
Ooh,
and
that
that
must have been
was
hard.
it was one of the hardest chapters I've written, and
Oh,
that was another that was another rabbit hole of research because I
Mhm.
spent before I wrote that chapter, I spent about a full 2 weeks on those red pill incel
Mhm.
misogynistic forums,
Mhm.
oh,
and
Ugh.
it was
wow.
turning my stomach
Uh,
to get into this character's
God.
head.
yeah. Oh,
Um,
seriously, you do
and
way more research than I do. Holy cow, dude.
oh, it was,
Okay, so your research holes, the bunny trails you go down, that is
yeah.
amazing. You are awesome in the narration thingy. Good job.
Mm. Oh,
Wait,
me?
narration. No, that's not what I was trying to writing thing. I'm
Oh
so used to
man.
talking to Andy. I talk to
Well,
Andy so
it's
often.
that is true though. She is awesome at the
I'll
She is
steal the
narrating.
awesome at the
compliment though.
narrating.
I'll take that, put
Yes.
that in my pocket, save it for later when I'm feeling a little down.
Okay,
Oh,
okay, okay.
all the sass all of a sudden too.
Yeah, well,
It's
she's
there.
from
It's there
Houston.
very frequently.
It's that
Yeah.
Houston in me. Can't help it. Them kids at school, they're so funny. They think they know. They don't know.
They don't
I'm
know.
going.
No,
Huh.
they got no
Y'all
idea.
aren't hood. You know how I know you're not hood? You wear Crocs, not even in sport mode. Get out of my face. Thank you. Have a good day.
I don't even know what that means, but oh, it's
Because when
amazing.
you live in the hood, you wear shoes that you can run for your life in at any moment, and that is not Crocs.
You don't run
But
in Crocs.
these kids come to school in Crocs with blankets. Like they sit in class, like they're just like all huddled up. I'm like, y'all are not hood. Get out of my face. Just because you use drugs does not make you hood. Anyway, but yeah, Lauren is I don't know. I just felt her backstory. And I mean, in reading the story, I can put myself in her shoes and just be like, man, she was going through that the entire book. And obviously, if she's with Morgan, like Morgan seems like a very empathetic, like sweet, down to earth, like chill kind of character.
Hmm.
And in order for him and he and she, words are hard, those two to be in an intimate relationship like that for such a long time, I mean, obviously there has to be some kind of empathetic, sweet side of her that exists.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that I just
exactly.
kind of like put it together and I felt like that was her character and that she most of the time was putting on a persona for people. And then when she was speaking to Gabby, that just wasn't like, when they were on the ship going there, that just
Yeah.
wasn't one of those times that she had to put up that persona.
Yep.
She was being more herself. And so I put that little bit of empathy in there. And then her accent, I did double check with you on that. I was like,
Yeah.
she's gonna be throughout the entire book. Like, I don't want to do like her accent differently than you. So I like double checked. But I'm glad that
But
you
she
liked
got
it.
so good at the Irish from doing my books that
Oh,
it is because of
I
me
did.
that she
I
got
have you
so
to
good.
thank. Yes, I have you to thank.
You
And
do. I've
now
practiced a lot.
and now everybody from Aradius, or not Aradius, oh, did I say she's
Oh
from?
man, what is
Cadmus.
it?
Oh,
Everywhere
Yeah,
yes.
Cadmus
Okay.
is gonna have a Northern Irish accent.
it's going to have a Northern Irish
Yeah.
accent. They are just
And
like my love Shane. I love him. I
yeah.
She
do.
does. She does. She does.
Don't you dare kill him.
I was ordered when I started writing when I started having her do the Through the Mist book. She's like, if you kill Shane, I will stop reading these books.
I was like, kill Quinlan. Do not kill Shane. I
Well,
don't care if Quinlan dies. Shane better not.
Wow.
well, you're gonna have to bring it back for the next book too, because we're gonna meet Lauren's parents.
Ooh.
That's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah.
I'll do
Now
it.
you're just showing off. I
We're gonna
mean,
get it done. What am I supposed to do?
it's perfect. I think
So,
it's awesome.
speaking of your books, and I never got around to my question for you because we got
Oh,
kind of sidetracked.
oh.
But as you know, I told you I don't listen to audiobooks as fast as you obviously do. Um, but
Yeah, no kidding.
I've gotten through books 1 and 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Wow.
Okay,
they're
those were
not
my
terrible.
first two, okay? Those those were my very first
That was the
ones
first ones you ever did at all? Like not
ever.
just as Shannon's, but ever?
Of ever.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you started out pretty good then.
Uh-huh.
Oh,
That's what I thought
thanks.
too. That's what I
Yeah.
thought too.
Um,
And Shane
no.
gets better as time goes along. I think you will
That's
agree. Shane gets better and better.
So I took a note because there was a moment right away in the first couple of minutes that actually surprised me that I really liked.
Oh,
So you actually did something that is gonna sound weird me starting like that and then switching it like that, but you actually did something I kind of hate.
okay. What did I do?
Um,
oh no.
so or not hate, maybe that's not the
Oh,
right
don't worry,
word,
don't worry.
but
It's okay.
um, it's a
She
bit
can
of a pet
take
peeve
it.
of mine. Um, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing. It's just something I don't particularly like.
Okay.
But you started describing I don't even remember her name, but that first girl and how like all the guys looked at her and how beautiful she was and stuff like that. And um and then you turned it, you flipped it in such a way that you turned something that I kind of didn't like into something I thought was amazing. Um
Mm,
so
this was Finton observing her, correct?
yep, yeah, first
Uh-huh.
couple of minutes. You
Okay.
said the line was women looked like they wanted to claw her eyes out. He enjoyed the idea of allowing them to do it.
Uh-huh.
So then all of a sudden you turn it from like this posturing, like over thing. I don't even know what the right word is, but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
this over exaggerated like beauty thing
Uh-huh.
into this character moment that was
Exactly.
just amazing. I was like, okay, now I
It
know I'm
tells you
in.
exactly who he is,
Yeah, I was
right?
like, I'm
Mm-hmm.
in good hands. So
Well, good. Yay.
this is
Whoa.
a storyteller that
Oh,
knows what they're doing when they can
it's a
take
dark journey,
uh
Wesley.
It is a
yeah.
very
A dark one.
But the
Well, I
question I
hope you're
wanted the thing that I was like blown away that you're maybe not blown away, but kind of surprised that you're a pantser
okay.
is the way I write. I cannot imagine doing an episodic thing. Like that just seems so difficult. So
Okay, well,
like
see,
how,
it's only kind of like that because that is a rewrite of an old book that I did, oh, probably 15 years ago, and
okay.
it was complete crap. It was really terrible. Like, I did all the old-fashioned things like after a period, there are two spaces between paragraphs. There were there was a space between paragraphs. But there was
Yeah.
also punctuation inside the quotation marks. So it was a lot of copy editing stuff that I had to do. So I rewrote the entire book. But what I did was it was a kind of baseless good versus evil type story. There was even when there was an ending, it never would have really been an ending. It was a
Okay.
bad book. So I took that writing because I had created the world. I'd created everything and I loved the story. It just needed help. And I took everything that I learned over the, last 10 years or whatever, would have been 8 years then, 7 years, whatever.
Math is
I took
A
hard.
while.
Math is
Yeah.
hard. But it in the time that I've been publishing, the things that I learned, I applied to that book, and I changed out names and locations, mostly locations, but it is the story that I started out with like 15
Okay.
years ago. And so what I did was I wanted to try Kindlevella just because I'd heard that it was no, yeah, Kindlevella, yeah. I wanted to try Kindlevella, but I didn't like how short the episodes were for that. So
Ah, cat butt.
Yeah, well, you only get her face now. Oh, goodbye, Snowflake.
That was her
S-
face?
yes, man, that was her
They just
face.
look they must just look the same.
You're a terrible person. Terrible person.
Sorry.
You know I'm a cat person too, right?
I
Yeah.
know.
Ugh.
You know what?
And my cat didn't fart so bad that she nearly cleared out the room. Ah.
While you're right. Okay, I wish I could send you a picture of Max's rear end because it doesn't even resemble. It looks like a face. It looks like one of those like because he's got that knobby tail. Man, it's funny. It's funny. It looks like one of those.
Okay.
Oh man, what are they with those like big long trunk noses, but that not like elephanty? Man, whatever. I don't
Anteater?
know what they're called.
Ant,
No, 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 no,
ant
no. It's not an
armadillo?
animal. It's not an animal. It's like a cartoon character. Gosh. Oh my.
Snuffleupagus?
Okay.
Yes. That's what he looks like.
Isn't
His butt
Snuffleupagus basically an elephant that's like a puppet elephant?
that stands up on two legs, something like that. I don't know. I'm not a TV person, but it looks funny. He
Okay.
looks like he could be a ridiculous cartoon character.
Okay. All
Totally.
We have descended into a very
right.
highbrow topic here.
Right.
Everything
Yeah.
with us tends to descend
Yeah,
somewhere.
sorry.
I won't say where. It tends to descend.
Into chaos. Speaking
Chaos,
of which,
yes.
that was the book that I just finished reading on Saturday, but we're not gonna
Hey.
get to that.
Oh,
So,
but I gotta
yeah,
finish telling you
Max
though. I
Shannon always
wanted to try Vela. Vela didn't work, so I decided just to do short stories. So
Okay.
that was where that went and how that came about.
So you
And
kind of
I
use your
only
original as like a outline almost, or
yeah, pretty much. Kind of
What did
sort
you
of.
so
say?
But I never had
so
an
would you
ending.
call that you were would you say that you were, kind of a plotter for that?
Oh,
Kind of, because it was already written. So I did, yeah. Oh,
she
look at
pantsed it
that.
first.
I pantsed it first and then I
Yeah.
architected it later.
Yeah, there you go.
Well, I mean that would probably be the gardening kind, right? I planted the seed.
Probably. Probably,
I
yeah.
planted the seed and it grew and then it went
I was just trying to be a jerk.
and then well
You did a good
done. Well
job.
done.
Andy approved.
Andy approved. Yes, she did. She's a teacher, so everything is planned out for her. So she doesn't
man.
understand my process, and my process is not approved
hey,
by the Andy.
it's not that I don't approve it. I just, every time you're stuck, I'm like, why don't you write an outline?
Because it ruins things for me. Totally
Hey,
does.
I understand.
My old
But
writing partner was the same way, and
Mm.
like that was like our biggest difficulty writing together is that I was an outliner and he was a 100% pantser.
Okay.
ah,
My
I
little
see.
monster is back. She really likes you guys, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, that's
Aw.
nice. That's nice over there.
Snowflake. Oh yeah, but you were saying something else about Snuffleupagus because I had to interrupt so I didn't forget
No,
what was
girl, I am
asked.
not even tripping. I don't know. I think it has something to do with more like being a jerk than
Oh,
Snuffleupagus
oh,
because
oh.
Eden, I have a series that I read and it's like a
Ooh,
weekly update kind of thing.
okay.
And one of the characters, he's like super grumpy. And Eden always says, she's like, is Oliver your favorite because he's grumpy like dad? And I go, yes, precisely.
Wow.
Precisely.
She's
This
like, because
is
you
why we
love grumpy
love Jed.
guys. I'm like, yes, I do. Love my grumpy
This
kid.
this is why we love Jed. Jed's a
Yeah.
good guy.
He is the best. But anyway.
Anyway. But the what was I saying? Oh yeah, the thing with your books though. Your ow, goodness gracious, girl. The thing with your books, you do have the basic idea laid out, but you are still kind of pantsing it. Am I wrong about that,
Yeah,
are
so
you
no, I do get a rough outline.
okay?
It just changes as I go. And
Okay.
when I create the outline, for each book, um I actually really like story structure and I like reading about story structure.
Okay.
So I know most of them. I mean, we've got like the hero's journey, three act structure. We got
Okay. Okay.
Dan Harmon's story circle, Save the Cat, all of those, right?
Okay.
And with Me and the Machine, I really struggled to find one that worked for that.
Okay.
But I ended up actually using what's called oh, I'm gonna murder this name. Uh,
Uh,
It
'Cause
sounded very Japanese.
it is. Oh, I told you about this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kishu Tenketsu. Yeah,
wow.
Kishu Tenketsu. And it's a four-act structure that's used in Japan and China.
Okay.
And I was a little bit worried about how Western audiences would take it because basically the first two acts are all character development. It's not really about having tension and stuff like that. And, if you've ever read any story structure about, in Western culture, it's like,
Mm-hmm.
get to the good stuff immediately.
Right, exactly.
Explosion,
Exploding
boom.
Right,
spaceship.
right.
Exploding
Yeah.
Start with the
spaceship
inciting
this.
act. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And in Kishu Tenketsu, like that's at your 50% mark.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Um,
really?
yeah, and
That's interesting.
but it actually kind of worked with what I had already like the first blocks that I had.
Okay.
So I'm basically I put those first blocks down and then I'm trying these different structures out to see what will flesh it out. And then
Interesting.
that one fit, and then a lot of those blocks ended up changing and I had to rearrange stuff as I'd go through the different drafts because the characters would, have different things in mind. So
I
it still
love that. So
has
you're half and half. You
kind of,
really are
yeah.
half and half, yeah.
Yeah.
That's kind of awesome, actually.
Yeah, but then when he changed it, like if something happens, remember he said he had to go back and like, oh, now I have to flesh like this out. And so he's like,
It's a
he
lot of
has like
work.
like
It
the
is,
bones,
yes.
and then he puts in like the tendons and the meat and the muscles
That
and then
Oh,
wraps it up in skin, like
so
to make me
you
feel like
you
a little
are you
skeleton.
really are God. They say writers are gods, but you really
Blasphemy.
oh,
you really are. That is the way you are creating. And so you
Mhm.
started out with this skeleton, and then
yeah.
you broke a few bones, and then came back and remade the leg bones. And maybe a
I,
few toes. There might be a few toes missing, but then
I
you
guess that's
created.
yeah, I guess that's an analogy that doesn't make me at all uncomfortable. Yeah.
Okay, good. I have a feeling
Okay,
that
so
was
you
sarcastic, but whatever. Oh my goodness, you're so restless.
Oh,
So you mentioned earlier, Wesley, that you about something about your process of character development. So, I mean, there's my side of character development, of course, but I take my cues from you. So, how was you writing in their perspective part of your process, and then you decided at the end to put it all into Gabby's perspective?
kind of, yeah. So, kind of not. How do I put this? Because I didn't know what point, I didn't know if I wanted to use first person or third person at first.
Right.
Right.
Um, and I kind of tried both before I landed on one.
Hmm.
And it was still fairly early on that I realized that first person was going to work better for the
Okay.
voice
Hmm.
and
Yeah,
for understanding the character.
it's true.
Um,
Right.
Yes.
so I felt pretty strongly that it was going to be first person, but I still wrote the entire thing in third person
Mm.
because I wanted to get all of those different viewpoints in there because I
Right.
felt like I wanted to know what all of these characters were doing at all
Hmm.
times on this spaceship. Because there's a lot of little things going on that
Right.
um
Especially with such a small crew, there would have to be a lot of things going on.
yeah. And
Hmm.
so I wrote not from every character's point of view, but I wrote at least one scene from a lot of them.
Okay.
Um, and there's even Admiral McCafferty was mentioned, right? He's aboard
Yeah.
the other ship. There's even an entire scene that I wrote from his point of view where he's flying Admiral Davis out to the Discordia before any of this happens.
Okay.
And they're just sitting there playing chess and having drinks and talking about old times.
Okay.
So I even knew a little bit about that character, even though he doesn't show up at all. And
Oh.
then when I wrote it, then when I went to start getting closer to the final draft and doing everything first person, I was like, okay, now that I know what everything's happening here, how do I get Gabby to see enough of this that it makes sense? How do I give the reader enough perspective
Right.
from
Hmm.
this very limited viewpoint? It's not
Right.
always she's not always a reliable narrator either.
True. Very true.
Because I wanted to make like my idea with her. My idea with the book was the 1992 film Under Siege, but
Oh.
instead of Steven Seagal, Malcolm in the Middle has to save the day.
That's hilarious.
That was kind of the idea. So like Gabby was
that.
like it was part Malcolm, part Good Will Hunting,
Okay.
and part her own kind of thing.
Yeah.
And but yeah, so
I watched a lot of Steven Seagal movies, so that really resonates with me. I had a big crush on Steven Seagal for a long time. Yes, I did.
He's an interesting person nowadays.
Yeah.
He got a little weird, but
I think he always was.
He probably always was. But we didn't have the internet back then, did we?
It's true.
That's what it is now. Now his weird is out there for everyone to see.
Exactly.
Oh geez, where was I? Oh yeah, so I just wanted to. I was trying to show enough of that stuff, which is part of how the idea of Gabby hacking the camera Tom came in.
Okay.
So I could give that other point of view.
Right. That makes sense that Lauren
really
has
good.
one.
Yeah.
What's that?
And it makes sense that Lauren has one anyway.
Yeah, she actually had it before I had the idea of her hacking it.
Okay.
It all just fits.
It does. Now, my question is, since I've only heard the audiobook, I haven't seen the book in print. How did you do the scenes that were from the past, the third person parts that? Wait, was that third person? I don't remember now. They were third
person, yeah.
Third person, yes. How did you write those? Did you like do them in like indented fonts? Did you just change?
No.
Did you just?
They're each their own chapter.
Okay.
So I mean, each scene is its own chapter. That's just kind of how I prefer to write.
Okay.
Obviously, there's no right or wrong way to chapter break something, but each one of those is its own chapter, and I figure most readers are gonna be able to pick up that it's a different viewpoint very quickly because it goes from first person present to third person past. So I didn't really feel like I needed to do anything weird with the formatting. I did, however, I've actually got right here. I don't know if it'll show up on the video, but the letters that Gabby writes in the sympathetic reality. Let me see if I can find them. When she's writing to Admiral McCafferty.
Right, at the end when she's in this,
Yeah. Those are in cursive.
Oh, that's cool.
Oh, I like that.
If I can find where it is.
So this is not for an audience under 18.
I'm actually not so pessimistic that I think that kids can probably figure out how to read it.
You think they can? Okay.
I think a lot of them can. The ones that read.
The ones that read books and Sci-Fi, maybe they'll figure that out.
Maybe they can't write it very well, but I think it's. I can't find it right now, and I don't know if it'd show up on the camera, so I'll just ask you to take my word for it.
I do. I believe you.
But yeah, those sections are in cursive. But other than that, it's formatted pretty just
standard.
Standard.
That's awesome.
What
I do, since you picked up your book, I do need you to hold it up to the camera, and you have to tell us who designed it. Because that is an awesome cover.
Wonderful cover.
Oh,
that is so cool. I was hoping it was going to be you, because that is so good.
Yeah, so I actually hired a professional.
Okay.
And she did 3 like proofs for me.
Okay.
And they were okay.
Yeah.
But they weren't right.
Yeah.
They absolutely were not right. And I asked
like that sometimes.
What's that?
I said it'd be like that sometimes.
Yeah, like even in mine, I don't know if it comes out very well on the camera, but even in mine, I feel like Gabby is just a little bit whiter than she should be.
Because she was dark complected.
She is dark complected, and this character is fairly dark complected, but the hair is maybe a little bit off. I mean, it does have some light blasting on it.
Yeah, that's true. That's what I assumed it was.
So
I got it. I got that it was Gabby right away.
I think that it's okay.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic.
But
Don't sell yourself
The
short. It's fantastic.
Well, thank you. But the lady that was doing it, like these girls were white, white. You know, they were
Oh,
white,
okay.
white, and that would
Very
have
Asian.
and that would work for, the next cover. C is going to be on it, and she's
Okay.
very
Mhm.
white, so that
Okay.
makes sense. But Gabby is a little bit darker. She's half.
Mhm.
I never say half what,
Yeah,
but
you
I
don't.
I,
But
I imagine it being some kind of Latin thing. That's what
okay,
I kind of
okay.
think of.
That's my
Um,
favorite coloring. I'm jealous of all people with dark complexions and dark hair. I'm so jealous.
You would be until you had it.
I had a friend in high school who was 5'8" and she was skinnier than
Monster.
me, and she was like Native American type complexion, dark hair, and she was like exactly what I always wanted to be, and it was so disheartening. I'm
Shannon acts like
still
she's not
traumatized.
gorgeous.
there are beautiful people in every color.
Ah,
Yeah, and everybody's beautiful to somebody, and
to
I think
somebody,
Shannon's
precisely.
gorgeous,
I
and like
think
I don't get why
I
she's like
I
this.
And
thanks.
don't blondes have more fun? Isn't that the saying?
Andy, you need to tell us.
So
Do blondes have more fun?
I guess. I don't know. I'm not one.
Or so?
I've never been. I've had pink hair, not had blonde hair.
Well,
But
okay, see,
yeah, I mean, I
dark
guess
blonde.
you have way more fun than I have. Like I stay
Dude, I'm
home,
an
play video
albino. It
games.
does I don't count as blonde.
Gr-
I would probably have mousy brown hair like my mom and dad if I had pigmentation. I've been told
Oh,
this.
you know what? Yep, Eden's blonde.
Yes,
you're
She
this is
has
what I'm
more fun.
talking about, my friend.
Oh yeah,
but
And
she's
you're like Siri
Siri,
hmm,
Siri,
from The
who's
Siri.
Siri?
Witcher. From The Witcher.
Oh, me?
Oh,
Oh, Shannon.
Shannon, yeah.
Wait, who's talk? Was that
so
on somebody's
that was
phone?
my phone thinking that
Oh, because I said not
which
that
is
Siri.
weird. Which is weird because I'm wearing headphones and it heard.
Hmm.
Always
This is
listening.
creepy. This is
Mhm.
creepy.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm afraid
Okay.
of my phone now.
yeah.
I'm surprised that you weren't before.
Oh, you're and now you're gonna start getting Witcher like advertisements because
Oh,
you
I
said
Yes.
probably
something.
will.
So yeah.
Ooh, okay.
100%.
Oh, by the way, the name
100%.
Siri means victory. So I almost used
Hmm.
it as a character
Oh
name a
no.
couple of times.
I
But
actually just saw your podcast about the names. I just watched that
yes.
yesterday.
Oh,
Uh,
my friends they
yeah.
are they're very nice people, and I very much enjoy talking to them about it, but like they don't get as deep into meanings as I do, so
What
I
is the
just
name of your actual podcast? Because I can't say the thing that we always call it.
the lit
What is
chicks lit
lit
chicks lit
chicks?
chicks
Gotcha.
lit
I don't, I
chicks,
can't, I
Andy.
can't, I can't call it anything else.
Do you add a C?
No,
Mm-mm.
she adds a
Okay.
It's,
B. She
yeah,
adds
it's
a B.
B.
Oh, okay.
They're the lit.
Hey,
Mm-mm.
hey.
I didn't say it.
I,
I implied it
You implied it. Yes, yes, you did.
very heavily. Very heavily. Okay.
Okay.
All
yeah.
right. All right.
All right,
We're gonna get in
kids.
trouble.
So,
So
are
Kids.
well, I mean, you're younger than me. I think he is too. I'm fairly certain. I'm 44, so he said 40, so I'm fairly certain I'm the old lady in the group.
I was just saying that as like a rough throwing that
Okay.
out there. I'm
Estimate.
actually 44.
Oh my gosh, we're twins too then. Oh my
Yeah.
goodness. We're practically family. We're both
Yeah.
44 and we're writers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But so twinsy.
Yes,
I
so
get
twinsy.
I like to get my kids, my not my kids, but my students to try to guess my age. They always give me like 22, 28, 16, 84. They don't
16.
know.
16.
Oh, I've gotten that one before. I'm like, how can I be a teacher at 16?
They're
I'm
not
not a
that clever.
babysitter.
They're
Yeah,
not
I'm
that
not.
clever.
Yeah, right. I'm smart, but not that smart. And if I were that smart, I sure wouldn't be here. Okay? But yeah,
I said they're not
34.
Yeah.
that smart, not you. I have no doubts about your intelligence, my friend.
Thanks.
You're welcome.
Appreciate
She's
you.
helped me out of too many computer problems for me to doubt her intelligence. Now mine, on the other hand, mine is doubtful in the extreme on many occasions.
No, you have lots of excuses too.
All right, so I need to go and buy deodorant because I ran out this morning and I
That's a good
have to work
segue.
out. It
Okay.
really is. I have to work out tomorrow morning and I cannot go stanky. So I will talk to you guys later. It was lovely chatting with you,
Yes,
Wesley
thank you for having me
Watts.
on. I
And
enjoyed it.
yes. And for your next book, you have to come on again and hopefully Ryan will have his Wi-Fi back up by the time you're done with your book.
It'll be a
And
while, so hopefully, yeah. I'm
uh,
still a ways away from that.
okay, all right. Well, you are working on those. Are you working on anything else though?
I can pretty much only work on one project at a time.
Okay, I see. I get
I
you.
did start a short story prequel to Me and the Machine.
Ooh.
That's basically about a reporter that knows Lauren and he's trying to like he's basically doing a human interest piece on um it's a very small thing in the book, but how the cruiser Icarus was attacked.
Oh.
And that's where they took the first bio box where they got the information. So this reporter is doing a human interest piece on the survivors of the Icarus.
That's awesome.
And
Ah.
Lauren is basically nudging him to dig deeper because she doesn't fully believe Morgan yet, and she needs some more
Oh,
information.
okay.
So I
Nice.
started working on that, but I kind of put that aside because I'm making actual progress on the next book.
That's
So
awesome.
Shannon
Yeah.
does not have that capacity.
I work on 5 projects at once.
I wish I could. I wish I could, but my brain doesn't work that way.
Okay.
I if I'm distracted like that, I get nothing done.
Well,
So
I'm not saying I get a lot done.
Yeah. She pedals over here and then she goes,
And
"Ooh,
yeah.
I thought about this one." And then she
Ooh.
pedals over here and then she goes,
Ooh.
"Oh, that reminds me. I could do something like that over here, but make it like Irish mythology."
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or
That's how
Egyptian
she.
mythology now.
Yeah,
well,
Egyptian mythology.
if there's something I'd like to be more like Brandon Sanderson, it would be his output. Because
Yes. Yes, indeed.
that dude
You'll
can
get
write
there.
like 4 or 5 books a year. So
He is pretty outstanding about that.
yeah.
I waited way too long for that last book. Okay.
Well, you should write him an angry letter.
Yeah. Yeah.
I strongly worded letter. I should.
Joel would totally approve.
Oh, jeez.
All
All
right.
right. Thank
It
you
was
guys.
lovely talking to you
Wesley.
guys. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.